안녕하세요, Cody입니다. 오늘은 Backhand. Hello everyone, tennis coach Cody here today. We're going to talk about two aspects of the intermediate backhand. This is our second video in our intermediate series. Our first video was the forehand. I hope you enjoyed that video. Here we go today with the backhand. So today we're going to talk about two different aspects of the backhand for the intermediate player. The first aspect we're going to talk about today is how to hit a high rally ball, pulling your opponent out wide from the baseline. Then moving to the second aspect we're going to talk about today, how to hit a short high, flat backhand that we're going to put away for a winner. Aspect number one, to hit a high heavy backhand cross court with topspin, it's all about what the left arm is doing. So when you're at the baseline and you get a rally ball and your opponent hits it deep at you, you're going to do your split step, your unit turn to the left just to review. Adjustment steps, your left wrist will be cocked. The legs will then load. And now this is the most important part. Your left arm is going to extend out with the knees staying bent and the left arm and shoulder will raise. When you're doing this and extending the left arm out and up, very exaggerated, and the ball isn't getting the effect you want, make sure that you throw that left arm out and don't let the right arm dominate the stroke. You want the left arm to do the work. Your left arm to go out and up. The backhand, this heavy backhand, needs to be done with the whole left arm. Once the ball is coming in, you want to first get your racket head below the height of the ball, and then rip up on that ball and get that arc. You're going to get your racket head down not by breaking your wrist, but you will bend your knees and move the left shoulder down. Your wrist will remain locked, so the strings are remaining closed. If your strings are flat on the contact point or open, you won't get the spin and your shot will be flying out long or deep. Now moving up the arm, once the ball is in place, your left arm will go out to the ball, and this will help you clear the net and get the depth. Once you extend your arm to the contact point in front of the front foot, you'll keep your left wrist flexed, and then you'll engage the left forearm and move your strings from left to right. This motion, this pronation, will make the ball drop and get the spin. If you just use your forearm and not the shoulder, the ball will go shorter into the net, and that's no good. Okay, so you need the combination of both, the left shoulder and the left forearm, to create power and spin. And then the result will be a great ball hurting your opponent. Here, the ball comes in, moving the racket head down, extending your left arm out, and using the forearm. One more example here. Left arm down, left forearm up. Moving on to aspect number 2 of the intermediate backhand. So now we're going to talk about how to drive a short high backhand that you received from your opponent and hit it a little more flat. Take time away from your opponent. Now following the same mechanics as the baseline backhand as we used at the baseline, you're going to use your shoulder to swing through the ball and create your power, and your forearm to create the spin. So the high backhand, the misconception is if you have a high ball, you don't need to bend your knees. But you need that little bit of flexation to create some power and keep your back straight at the same time. So the racket head will stay high. Once that ball comes in high, the racket will go above the height of the ball, behind the ball. The left wrist will stay flexed. And then you'll use your left shoulder to drive through that ball. It's kind of awkward and it does require some shoulder flexibility. But remember, keep the knees bent. The racket head will go above, behind. Left wrist flexed. Left arm out, left shoulder out to that contact point and hitting that ball. Let's go over it right now. Recognize that the ball is short. Ball is up nice and short. Boom! Racket head above, behind, and hitting. And it's mainly about attacking it the right way. You don't want to drop your racket head too soon. You have to do extra movements. And you don't have time for that. You drop immediately, then you have to move your racket head up behind the ball and then swing through that ball. This is what you don't want to do. You want to attack it by moving to the ball with your racket head up, behind, and then swinging. Right here, and swinging. Boom! And then you'll go right up to the net. And you'll be able to execute that volley next. If they get it back. So, you're using more of your shoulder than at the baseline. Flexing your knees, bending your knees, wanting to hit the ball a little more flat, taking your time away from your opponent. The more flat you hit, the harder the ball is. The more MPHs it has, more spin you hit, the more time your opponent has. And that time to get to the ball. And that is how to hit, flatten out a short high backhand and hurt your opponent. Thank you all for watching our intermediate backhand video today, second video of our intermediate series. I hope you enjoyed and can take both of these aspects. The heavy baseline rally ball, heavy and push them back, push them deep, then you'll get your short high backhand which you can flatten out and follow into the net. Thank you all for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and watch our coming videos. 구독, 좋아요. 안녕히 가세요. Bye.